As a link to what we know and what we need to know about planning for assessing learning spaces, the LSC presents stories from the LSC community about lessons learned from diverse experiences in planning learning spaces, and about emerging assessment strategies to determine the impact and influence of new and repurposed spaces on the experience of learning, as well as on the institutional culture.
My work focuses on libraries and other informal learning spaces on campus. The ubiquitous evidence that's used to demonstrate how renovated or new library spaces make a difference is by using gate count information, comparing the numbers of people who go into a library before and after a renovation. Invariably, those numbers at least double after a renovation. While I often criticize this measure as being disconnected from evidence of actual learning, I do believe there's some value to understanding how renovated library spaces provide welcoming spots for students to engage in academic work outside of class. And we can focus more on how they use those spaces when they're renovated. What we need to better understand are some of the factors that bring them into the library that enhance their learning activities. For example, access to technologies they can't afford on their own, access to reservable group study space, places to go for quiet solo study, and places to find expertise to support complex course projects. In addition, libraries often mention that after a renovation, student guides bring their tour groups of prospective students into the library space, whereas before they just passed the library by. The library should be a cultural and community icon on campus, and renovations often assist them in achieving that status. Can we develop good methodologies that assist us in understanding how space is a factor, not the sole factor, in improving various learning outcomes? As we know, for example, with problem-based learning classrooms, the space in and of itself does not improve or change pedagogy, but those classrooms do provide a platform for transforming pedagogy and thereby improving learning. Can we develop better evidence for understanding how informal learning spaces support specific learning engagements outside of the classroom? For example, group projects, developing multimedia or technology-intensive projects, etc. However, again, it's not just the space configuration that promotes this engagement, but a combination of space, technology, expertise to assist users, and for libraries, an integration of content. Well, I wonder how we can encourage librarians and others who administer informal learning spaces to focus as much on post-occupancy assessment as on needs assessment. We must develop some evidence to determine whether we met the needs that we developed before the project, and also collect evidence on unintended consequences of the project, both positive and negative. At one library, the University of Calgary's Taylor Family Digital Library, a staff member who coordinates exhibits and events told me that she's constantly approached by individuals, students, faculty, community members, about using the library for various purposes. She said, and I'm quoting, "This library generates ideas." This would be a wonderful thing to capture and an unintended consequence of their major facility project.
We invite you to visit the LSC website for further stories from the field about the process of planning, of focusing on users in the context of focusing on the future for learning and learning spaces. Our website provides links to national reports that are major resources for planners at all stages of attending to spaces that matter, a portfolio of spaces that work, and collections of essays about audacious questions for planning that go beyond current practice. Information about upcoming activities related to learning spaces within the broader LSC community is also posted. The LSC is for and by the LSC community. Join us.